Hello and welcome to Newsbreak Chats. I'm Chai Hoffelenia, the editor of Newsbreak, which is the investigative and in-depth section of Rappler. It's almost the end of February. That's why we're scheduling this monthly Newsbreak Chats. And we've decided to focus on one hot issue for the month, and it's no other than ABS-CBN. You guessed right. As you know, ABS-CBN is a major network, and there are fears that it might not get a renewed franchise. So that will be the topic of our discussion today. Yesterday, Wednesday, February 26, President Duterte accepted the apology of the CEO, Carlo Katigbak. Let me quote what the President said. He said, I quote, "Yes, I accept the apology, of course. But fundamentally, really, ang decision nasa House ngayon. Not so much the Senate, because the Constitution says all of these things must originate from the lower house." Does this signal better days ahead for ABS-CBN? With me today are three reporters who have been covering this issue very closely. To my right, no, let's start with my left. To my left is Mara Cepeda, who covers the House. Beside Mara is Aika Ray. She covers the Senate. And to my right naman is Lian Buwan, who covers the judiciary, that includes the Supreme Court and the Department of Justice. Sige, let's jump into the immediate question. Is the worst over for ABS-CBN, especially in light of the President's acceptance of the apology? Lian, what do you think?
The worst will be over if the Congress acts on the bills renewing their franchise. And Mara, jump in. I don't think that's happening very soon.
This is going to drag. I don't think the worst is over. The worst is
Just
yet
begun.
to come. The bad things are only happening. Because the House, the Speaker already said, just today, day after the President said he's accepting the apology, he's still bent on holding the hearings in May or early August. What he's leaving out conveniently is that by May or early August, it's also the start of budget season. So there's going to be another reason that they could possibly use to say, you know what, it's not going to be a priority because the budget is more important. Yeah, so it's still not yet over. And the Speaker has his own reasons for it. Okay, so he's saying that this morning he said that it's going to do more harm than good if the House will push to hold the hearings and give in to the pressure from media. These are verbatim quotes that I got from him kanina. Kasi daw, there's only 6 session days left. So essentially 2 weeks that Congress can hold the hearings. He said that if they hold the hearings now, only one side will be able to air out their concerns ng maayos. And then by the time that Congress will take a break starting March 14, ang e-ere lang ng paulit-ulit ay yung kung ano man yung lumabas sa hearing. He also says it's more important for the House and the Senate to tackle the corporate income tax bills and the Cetera bills. And then he's saying na, okay, I care about the 11,000 jobs that are on the line for ABS-CBN, but these tax bills will eventually give hundreds of jobs, hundreds and millions of jobs. So parang may discrepancy doon. But you know what? The real reason is he's pissed with ABS-CBN because of its cover. We have to call a spade a spade. Sinabi na rin naman niya eh. His accusation was that there was unfair election coverage on the part of ABS-CBN in 2010 when he was Secretary General of the Nationalista Party and he was on the team of losing presidential candidate Manny Villar
Isn't that
in 2016.
Yeah, but isn't that so petty? I mean, you have a network that has had this franchise for 25 years, and then dahil lang in his words, no, parang hindi siya binigyan ng fair coverage, and he happens to be the speaker, and dapat sa House mag-emanate ang franchise, di ba? Babalikan kita, hindi kita bibigyan ng franchise.
I think that this is a guy who lost the elections, but because he was so close to the president, he's still in power now. He's still very influential now, and he's using that to get back. So, you know what? Yeah, it is petty because
And dangerous, ah.
And you know what? You're already the speaker. You're already very influential, right? In a way, you are more influential than the vice president in terms of wielding power in this administration. Why are you still doing this? But if Cayetano is to believe, they supposedly have gathered evidence to show that ABS-CBN violated the law. Even if during the Senate hearing, and I'm sure Aika can expound on that later on, wala naman silang violations so far because there were witnesses from BI, resource persons from
BI.
But before that siguro, let's backtrack a bit. Ano ba yung process?
Okay.
How do you get the franchise? Bakit ba kailangan ng franchise? Saan ba nanggagaling yung franchise? And bakit yung ibang media wala namang franchise?
Okay.
Aika, sige.
Well, basically, public utilities apply for franchise. So, hindi lang naman to sa media, no? So, pag pinag-usapan natin yung prangkisa, ang transportation, humihingi, ang energy, and then telecommunications in general. So, yun yung mga humihingi ng prangkisa sa Kongreso. So, katulad nga nung nabanggit kanina, na nanggagaling dapat ang visa origination clause na kailangan ang franchise bills regarded as a local or private bill ay manggagaling sa House. And then, saka lang siya dapat mapupunta sa Senate.
Okay.
In an ideal situation. But, ang tradition ng Congress is, for example, yung budget. Nagkakaroon ng simultaneous hearings ang House at ang Senate kasi kung hintay nila yung House, magre-reenacted budget tayo. So, yun yung same reason kung bakit yung Senate ang naunang mag-hearing kesa sa House. Kasi nga, inuupuan ng House yung ABS-CBN franchise. So, ngayon, ang pwede lang mangyari habang hindi pa nag-hearing si House ay maghihintay si Senate hanggang sa mapasa nila yung bill, saka lang sila pwedeng mag-report sa plenary at pag-agrihan ng ibang senador kung mapapasa ba nila to.
Okay. In the discussions at saka dun sa reports, there have been terms na lumabas,
Yes.
di ba? So, isa yan, yung bill, which we said nga dapat nag-emanate from the House. Tapos, meron namang naririnig na there's such a thing as a concurrent resolution and a joint resolution. Ano ba yung pinagkaiba nun?
So, they're both resolutions,
Yeah.
but their gravity in terms of whether or not they have the full force and effect of the law, dun sila nagkakaiba. So, ang concurrent resolution, it merely expresses the sense of either the House or the Senate that adopts it regarding a certain topic. So, essentially, it's like a formal kuda. Essentially, formal kuda ng chamber na ginawa kasi whereas a joint resolution passes through the same process as a bill, meaning dadaan sa committee, kailangan may boto doon, tapos may second and third reading din. So para siyang batas, tapos kailangan yun ng signature ni Pangulo. So in terms
Yan
of
yung joint resolution.
that's the joint resolution. So in terms of kung may pangahawakan yung, kasi ginagamit na yung resolutions in terms of kung pwede bang i-extend beyond May 4, 2020.
Right.
In the Senate, yung concurrent resolution, yung inadopt na way ni Senate Minority Leader Frank Drilon. In the House, it's the joint resolution naman by Congressmen Del Mar and Rufus Rodriguez.
Meron din si Drilon.
Meron din si Drilon,
yes,
na joint
kahapon.
resolution. Ayun. So, what I feel is that these lawmakers are trying to exhaust all the legal remedies that they can. Pero yun na nga, kung gagamitin mo yung joint resolution, mabagal yung processing niya, pero pag pinasa siya at sinay ng Pangulo, may pangahawakan ka sa batas. Yung concurrent resolution, mabilis, it will express the sense of the chamber, but if it's legal-wise, pwedeng,
Hindi
wala
siya
naman
kasing
yan.
binding.
Yes.
No effect of the
Yes,
law.
actually, yung concurrent resolution, wala naman siya talaga sa talks initially. Ang nagsuggest nito, si Secretary Guevara. So, ito yung reason kung bakit si Senator Drilon ay nag-file kahapon ng concurrent resolution. Kasi nga, ang view ni Secretary Guevara na kung mag-a-adopt ang Senate or ang House ng isang concurrent resolution just to express na we want ABS-CBN to operate, edi may gagamitin si National Telecommunications Commission na basis para bigyan sila ng provisional authority to operate. Kasi right now, ang sense ng lawmakers, hindi mapapasa yung batas. You only have like 6 session days ahead. And then, wala na.
Were you surprised by yung pagtanggap ni Pangulong Duterte ng apology that came from Mr. Katigbak?
Me, not really. Kasi the president is ganyan naman talaga, di ba? Sometimes he's soft towards people. Di ba parang yun naman yung packaging sa kanya ng mga spokespersons niya, ganun. And given the backlash against the pronouncements of Senator Bongo in the Senate, wherein he said that all the president wants is fair reporting, pero kung ka sa Pangulo, mas magiging masama siya sa'yo. And I think that did more harm to them than good kasi nagkaroon ng backlash na, bakit vengeful yung Pangulo. So I think I was kind of expecting na kapag tinanong siya, he will also accept it. Kasi pag hindi niya inaccept, then that just strengthens yung vendetta angle nitong buong issue.
Mhm. So the perception is pinipersonal ng Pangulo if he does not accept the apology. Pero in the case of Alan Cayetano, obviously, pinipersonal din niya, di ba? How do you see this playing out? Parang after the president said, okay, I'm accepting the apology, smooth sailing na ba to as far as ABS is concerned?
I
Hindi
don't
pa
think
talaga
so.
Kasi yung sinabi na nga ni Pangulo kahapon na, okay, I'm accepting, but you know, the ball is in the court of the House. And
So
the
babalik
House-
sa House.
And,
balik sa
and
House.
literally, Cayetano said,
No.
ang tanong kasi sa kanya kanina, sir, because the president said, after accepting the apology, the president said the ball is now in your court. Cayetano just said it still doesn't find any urgency. Same reasons pa din.
Yes, just to add, na hindi talaga magkakaroon ng urgency yung Congress unless the President writes na I'm urging you to pass this, di ba? Unless i-certify niya as urgent, then
I mean, yeah,
So
if the president wants to give the impression that sinusuportahan niya yung renewal ng franchise, then maybe he could really certify the bill as urgent, which he hasn't.
And quite telling that the House hasn't moved. Parang dragging its feet talaga, di ba, on this particular issue, despite the public pronouncements na, okay, gagalaw naman yan, NTC, meron ng basis na panghahawakan because yan na yung sinabi ng Justice Secretary. But the other issue also that's hanging there, besides the franchises, may co-warranto issue pa, di ba? How does that play in this entire thing?
I-compare ko na lang sa Sereno co-warranto. Kasi
Sige.
nung nag-co-warranto kay Chief Justice Sereno, parang may clash din na bakit hindi na lang mag-impeachment trial sa Senate, bakit co-warranto. Sa Sereno kasi, the only thing being attacked is his appointment. So kapag kino-warranto na yun ng Supreme Court, then that's it, it's over, it's done. Yung dito kasi, the franchise is expiring and therefore a new one can be given. So there's this
Okay.
discussion of kapag kino-warranto, if the Supreme Court grants the co-warranto petition versus this franchise, does it necessarily affect the new franchise? Kasi magkaiba naman yun. Mag-overlap lang sila kasi pwedeng sabihin ni Soljan Calida na if the Supreme Court granted my petition, it agrees that there were violations. So Congress, why are you giving a new franchise to a violator? But ABS-CBN and its lawyers could also say na kapag grinant ng Congress yung franchise, edi that's another independent branch saying, we didn't see merit in the violation. So magkakaroon na naman ng clash between the judiciary and the legislative.
Okay. Kayo, how do you see this playing out? Parang if matuloy, so hanging pa rin si franchise, and assuming merong moves at madaliin nila in the House, kahit na almost miraculous siguro yon. Ano yung isi-signal nun kay sa OSG?
actually kung
Positive ba yun?
yung isa ring scenario kasi is kung magbibigay si NTC ng provisional authority beyond May 4. Kasi hanggang ngayon, at least legal experts are contesting or are debating na may ibang nagsasabi na hindi pwede mag-operate.
Yes.
Si Secretary Guevara sinasabi pwedeng magbigay ng provisional authority. Pero, so yun na nga, hindi pa rin sigurado. So, kung ang prevailing opinion is for ABS-CBN to operate under what we don't know basis, on the principle of equity, kasi yan ang
Yes.
sinasabi ni Secretary Guevara. So, pwede pa rin sampahan si ABS na bakit ka nag-ooperate? Eh, wala namang legal basis. So, isa rin yung pwedeng mangyari na ang daming humps.
Pero
na
di
pwedeng
ba there
daanan.
were recent statements by former Chief Justice
Renato Puno,
yeah, and they said na essentially they do not agree with Secretary Guevara.
Yeah.
So anong mas matimbang doon?
Well, in the Duterte administration, ang mas matimbang sila. So that's why I asked the secretary, because he was supposed to issue a legal opinion. A legal opinion is mabigat siya kasi precisely why executive agencies ask the government legal firms for a legal opinion kasi yun yung baon nila kapag dinemanda sila eh. So it's not legally binding but it carries weight kapag when push comes to shove. But he's refusing to offer a legal opinion.
Why is that?
Sabi niya, because daw ABS-CBN is a private company, therefore a government legal opinion is not binding on a private company, and he said he's deferring to Congress because the question should be given to Congress. Whether you believe it or not, the fact still remains that he's not going to issue a legal opinion. What he issued was a legal guidance. And that legal guidance had so much authority that it kept being cited by the likes of Senator Grace Poe.
Yeah.
Di ba parang lahat na sila ang sinasite si Secretary Guevara. So we were asking him, just the reporters were asking him na, you are being largely cited and yet this is not a legal opinion. So anong mangyayari?
You're not putting it in writing.
You're not putting it in writing. And then he said, di ba, kahapon the House Legislative Franchise Committee sent a letter to the NTC basically urging it to give na a provisional authority. So we asked Secretary Guevara na, okay na po ba to? Is this like, swak ba to sa suggestion mo? Tapos sabi niya, actually yes. Actually, yung letter nga lang ng House, okay na. But if the Senate can come up with its own letter, if its own resolution, then that is a stronger defense when a legal challenge comes, sabi niya. So sabi namin, legal challenge from whom? So I asked him na, is the non-issuance of a legal opinion a move to avoid a situation where you are saying they can operate beyond May 4 and the OSG is
Yes.
hell-bent on shutting them
And there will
down.
be a clash
And there
between
will-
your two
yeah.
offices.
And there will be a clash between your two top lawyers of the
Right.
government. Sabi niya no daw, and his decision to not issue a legal opinion does not have anything to do with the autonomous actions of the Office of the Solicitor General.
Okay, so anong scenarios ang nakikita ninyo?
So, yun na nga. Yung first scenario is, kung masusunod yung sinasabi ni Secretary Guevara, i-adapt ng Senate, kasi right now, Senate lang naman yung merong concurrent resolution, ibig sabihin, yun yung magiging signal for NTC to give a provisional authority. So, yun yung una. And this is workable kasi ang pag-adapt ng concurrent resolution, it only takes 1 day. And then, kasi sentiments lang naman siya eh. Kung maaprubahan, di okay ka na sa scenario 1. ABS-CBN will still operate beyond May 4. Yung second is yung joint resolution.
Beyond May 4, but until when?
We don't know. Kasi
Depende sa ibibigay
depende sa
siguro ng
ibibigay ni
NTC.
NTC
Okay.
or depende kung merong makakapagsabi na may violation si ABS. So, regardless, it's on shaky grounds kasi it can be withdrawn.
Ang pinaka-optimistic is what?
Pinaka-optimistic is mapasa talaga yung batas. Yung 25-year franchise. Because, yun na nga, katulad ng sinabi ni Lian kanina, kung mapasa yung 25-year na franchise, ano pang ikokowaran
So
to?
yun ang best,
Yun
super
ang
best
best,
scenario
the
for
best.
ABS.
Pero ang mukhang pinaka-workable is yung concurrent resolution.
For now.
Okay, so next best is concurrent resolution, which will allow them to operate beyond May 4 until
The date that the NTC sets. But the danger is that, ito yung pinopoint out ni Senator Drilon nung Senate hearing. It wouldn't really comfort ABS-CBN because NTC can withdraw it anytime. At tinanong niya yun sa NTC Commissioner, kay NTC Commissioner Cordoba, sabi niya, so if it's the Congress that authorizes you to issue the provisional permit, do you need Congress to withdraw it? Tapos sabi ng NTC, hindi. So sabi ni Senator Drilon, ay, nakakatakot sa ABS kasi you will give them a provisional permit na pwede mong bawiin
anytime. So hawak mo pa rin
Oo,
siya.
hawak mo pa rin sila.
Pwede bang up to May 2022 at the very least?
merong joint resolution
Oo.
extending the terms of the franchise to 2022. But the thing is, with the joint resolution, it does have the effect, it
Of
does
a
have
law.
the effect and force of the law. Kaya lang, hindi, kung mag-e-expire yung franchise ng May 4, ano yung i-extend nila?
So doon papasok yung sinasabi
Kasi-
ng justices.
Papasok siya ng tatlong readings, kailangan sa House galing, and then saka lang pupunta sa Senate, and then pipirmahan ni Presidente.
Okay. Okay, so NTC will at some point decide, no, hanggang kailan yung extension. Meron nga bang naging abuses and violations ng franchise?
Well, nung Senate, it turned out na cleared sila sa BIR, cleared sila sa DOLE, cleared sila sa pay-per-view. Ang sinasabi lang kasi nilang issue dun sa pay-per-view, at least on the side of the NTC, na nilabas nila yon yung Kapamilya Box Office offerings kung kailan nag-i-issue pa lang sila ng guidelines. So, wala pa. Pero, naayos nila yun di ba? Yun yung naging conversation at that time. Tapos, tinanong si Commissioner Cordoba, magkano ba ang penalty sa violation? At ang sinabi niya, 200 pesos po.
200
But
pesos?
it's 200 pesos per day per violation.
Per day per violation.
So baka million din yan. No?
Okay.
So yun. But at least it's not, I mean,
Yeah, it's not shut
it's
down.
not shut down. And then lastly, yung PDR. On the issue of the PDR, ang sinabi ni, it doesn't amount to ownership. And this is what Sir Rappler's been saying naman from the very start, di ba? So ito, sinasabi na clear siya on that part. So ano pa bang kasalanan ni ABS-CBN? Si Senator Ralph Recto, sinasabi niya, Senate President Pro Tem Ralph Recto, sabi niya, bakit tayo magbibigay ng equivalent to a death penalty
Right.
when we can just fine them? Kasi ganun din naman yung ginagawa ng BSP, ng Competition Commission. So, why that?
You also looked at, di ba meron kayong special report, data story in fact, which, you looked at the other franchises na inaplayan ng ibang kumpanya, and what did you see? Ano yung highlights siguro?
The data that Aika and I were able to gather at the House and Senate website, so it's readily available, is that it doesn't take Congress a long time to renew the franchise of major broadcast television and radio stations. So for example, the previous 17th Congress, so this is 2016 to mid-2019, chinek namin ni Aika yung gaano katagal yung pag-process ng Senate ng House ng franchises ng GMA, Manila Broadcasting Company, Pacific Broadcasting System, CBCP, tsaka TV5. Ang pinakamatagal na doon yung pag-process ng Senate, 80 days.
80?
And this is from the approval of the committee report until approval on third reading.
So that's basically 6 months, more or less.
Pero kasi,
Mga
napapas...
3 months lang.
3 months lang, 3 months lang. Kasi napapasukan na nasasabayan sila nung break nung session. Kasi
okay.
ating mga congressmen and lawmakers working so hard, they need a lot
Yeah.
of breaks in a year.
Yes,
So
right.
sumasabay doon. Pero kung i-add mo lang naman, it's not like ABS-CBN, di ba? And then, siguro yung pinakamabilis is for, I think, TV5 network, pagpasa niya sa Senate, it's just 7 days. In the House, it was 13 days lang. So, mabilis. Hindi nila inuupuan ng ganong katagal. Also interesting to point out that the first bills seeking to renew ABS-CBN's franchise was actually filed during the presidency of Benigno Aquino III. This was in 2014. At nagstay lang siya sa committee level. So, ito yung contention ng iba. Why are you putting so much pressure on President Duterte when President Pinoy didn't even push for it? But at the time, there was no sense of urgency. Because the bill was filed 2014. The franchise was going to expire 6 years later.
Yeah.
So, because maybe they had other priorities at the time, right? Pasa na lang sa susunod na, papasa sa susunod na Congress. And then,
Dagdag ko lang din sa sinabi ni Mara. I think it's also worth noting na yung Pacific Broadcasting System at yung ABS-CBN, sabay inaprubahan yung prakisa nila noong 1995.
Okay.
So, sabay sila mag-end this year.
Yes.
But, ang Pacific Broadcasting System, ang franchise niya na-approve ng 17th Congress. So, yung question, kung na-aprubahan si
Ano
Pacific
istasyon yung
Broadcasting,
Pacific?
nagre-relay siya sa DZRH, sa provinces. So, kung ito, na-aprubahan ng 17th Congress on the same day na pareha silang na-sign ng President 1995, bakit walang sense of urgency
Hindi
for
patas
ABS-CBN?
ang pagtingin.
Diba? So, why?
Why?
Tanong natin kay Speaker Cayetano.
to me, I think it's a political question at the end of the day. Kasi the Senate hearing already showed that there are no violations. on
Yes.
ABS-CBN's part. The speaker says they have evidence to show that ABS-CBN did have violations, but saan? If it's, maybe they want to present it during the hearings, but if they're so grave and you want to correct all the defenders of ABS-CBN, why don't you just present them now? What's
Why would
happening
they?
here is, we have people in power who are using their influence, who are using state forces to hang a sword over the head of ABS-CBN, threatening them. And that's power in its most raw form. Means I have the power to actually dictate whether you're an ordinary employee of ABS-CBN who has nothing to do with all the political violations they might have done or political games they might have played, diba? I can dictate whether or not kakain yung pamilya mo bukas.
Right.
And that's scary and that's disappointing because we elected these people to protect the interests of voters like the 11,000 employees of ABS-CBN.
Right.
Vote for Mara.
I don't want to run for office.
Yung the idea of franchises being granted, no, parang gusto ko lang balikan ng konti. Kasi on the one hand, yung rationale for it is kailangan government should be granting those franchises precisely because limited yung airspace, yung frequencies. Therefore, hindi pwedeng lahat. Hindi katulad ng sa dyaryo halimbawa or online media. It's endless. So, hindi mo kailangan i-regulate, hindi mo kailangan ng licenses. Pero, yun na nga, as we've seen, it also grants tremendous power to the branch of government that grants the franchise. Meron bang other way of doing it besides sa house lang manggagaling? Meron ba kayo nakikitang way out or a
To
compromise?
get the franchise?
Yeah?
No, sorry, because the Constitution itself says the franchises has to pass through the House first.
So if we were to change the Constitution
Yeah,
or
but then
amend
you-
it, how would you change it?
Tough question.
Tough question.
Tough question.
I defer to
I-
Justice Buwan.
Justice Buwan?
I don't
Perhaps
know.
the framers of our Constitution have their reasons. Kasi hindi lang franchise bills yung dapat nag-originate eh. Even our national budget, our taxes. And I think pumapasok kasi dyan is yung expectation or the assumption that your lawmakers were elected who will use their power, use their
And they are
seats.
representatives of the people,
Yes,
kaya manggagaling
to
sa
scrutinize
House.
it very well. Kasi kaya siguro magsisimula siya sa House kasi yung mga congressmen nag-represent sa district, so mas local sila kaysa sa mga senador. So dapat unahin muna nila yung, they'll take into account the local angle before pupunta sa Senate na mas mas national. At saka, proposals to change the Constitution or just parts of the Constitution do not really change that provision regarding where the legislative franchise must originate from. So it seems dapat okay siya. Pero now, it seems, in this government, they can use the law to their own advantage.
Weaponization nga talaga eh. Yeah. There's another how would you look at or how would you assess how ABS has handled this whole issue so far?
Well, it's good that they've started their rallies, which only started when the Solicitor General filed the quo warranto petition. Because up until then, quiet naman from their side. And siguro you will understand that they wouldn't want to speak out kung wala pang real threat. So nung finailan na sila ng quo warranto, then doon na sunod-sunod. The NUJP has supported them tremendously. Every Friday, may rally. So tomorrow, meron sila ulit rally, and the biggest one was last Friday na they held a vigil around their compound, tapos may mga artistang nandun. So that's a good start. And it's also a signal to the administration na hindi rin naman sila papatalo. And I think that's good once in a while na ipakita mo to the people in power that you will not go down without a fight.
Okay. Kayo, what's your take? Anong assessment niyo sa ABS?
I think okay yung paglabas ni CLK sa Senate hearing. I mean,
For many reasons.
who would say no to that angelic face saying sorry to you, di ba? So I think it worked. Yung approach din na yun na to stay humble and to stay grounded and to be respectful. Yeah.
In terms of the entertainment side, kasi in terms of impact ng ABS-CBN, and forget about press freedom. I think people are going to care if they can't watch their favorite artistas. So
Yeah,
as,
I
you know,
agree.
as fans of our artistas,
fans
I'm
of
a
the
Chanel
Pamilya
fan.
Network.
Ako parang napakaganda rin yung kanilang strategy that they are staggering out yung unique way of protesting or supporting ABS-CBN ng kanilang mga stars in the form of quietly appearing during the rallies. May nag-walk, may nakakapag-post ng video ng ilang artistang sumasali. Si Lian nakapag-post ng picture ni na Jericho Rosales.
My most shared photo, by the way, in my journalistic career. Na-meme pa siya, that's an achievement.
Ayun, diba? So maganda yon, and then they've been over the past few days, may strategic pag-release ng mga pictures ng mga artista na naka-ribbon. So that's important because that's actually bringing it to home. Literally, these are household names that, you know, if they don't watch the news, they watch these people. And when the franchise goes down, they won't be able to watch it anymore. On the part of journalism, I appreciate how our colleagues from ABS-CBN are very supportive and are very visible in the fight for press freedom sa kanilang kampanya. During the Senate hearing, ang daming mga reporters doon na spectators, and yung presence nila is enough. And I think, and I don't think kailangan ko na silang pagsabihan, I hope ABS-CBN will continue doing their compelling investigative stories, their documentaries. Marami sa mga tinitingala ko sa industriya, nasa ABS-CBN, mga napapanood ko sa TV, ngayon mga nakakatrabaho ko na. And I really hope they continue doing that. That, you know, the best way to show the president that you can't shut them up is to keep on being very critical, but of the administration. Show the facts and keep on doing your work. Hindi naman kasi nila kasalanan na yung totoo ay masakit.
So are we saying here that it pays to be humble and it pays to apologize to the president and go soft rather than paint it as a press freedom issue?
Playing the game is always has its advantages. Yun lang.
Perhaps ABS-CBN is at this point where they think this is the best way for them to keep the network alive. Kasi I always say, dissent is very important. You have to fight for press freedom. But you have to work around the reality that you're also employed by a company that is relying on a franchise, essentially. And you have to, you have to play the game. And perhaps apologizing to the president now, it might not be something that's agreeable to everybody. Baka yun yung play nila ngayon. Baka it might work.
Yeah, just to add, parang ABS-CBN kasi is faced with the unchangeable reality that they will not be able to operate without a government-issued franchise. So, yun lang parang
hawak na kayo.
So,
yung pag-apologize naman, di naman nila binibenta yung kaluluwa nila sa ganong lagay. So,
Just to add, yung latest financial statements ng ABS-CBN showed na at least 32 billion ang kinita nila nung first 9 months of 2019. So, say, 32 billion. A lot of it came from advertising and regular advertising and the political ads because of the elections.
Yeah.
So 17 million out of 32 billion, that's like 53% of their revenues. Wala pa doon, at least yung ABS-CBN holdings, wala pa doon yung subscriptions from Sky Cable, and then of course yung TFC, but TFC largely relies on the ABS-CBN broadcast itself. So kung mawawala yung franchise, anong matitira sa ABS-CBN? Sky Cable?
They're publishing.
Kidzania. Online. Mawawalan sila ng kikitain. Kung mawawalan sila ng kikitain, at least on the business perspective, paano sila mag-hire? Paano nila isusupport yung ABS-CBN online operations?
And anong gagawin mo dun sa ilan lang ang ma-absorb ng online operations.
Yes, ilan lang ang ma-absorb. So another question of like separation pay pa yan, kung mag-lay off sila. So yun din. So aside from that, that's the business angle.
Tsaka yung simple reality na lang na pag gumising ka, nasa probinsya ka, iinom ka ng kape, gigising ka, pagbukas mo ng TV, walang channel 2. Di mo mababaliw ka doon.
Hindi nga lang.
Pag wala ng antene, di ba? Pag yung
25
antene mo,
years
ganun,
mo
tapos
ginagawa
sobrang
yan.
tapos walang ABS, nababaliw ka na. So parang
Eh, di
paano?
mag-GMA ka
They're
naman.
part of the culture.
They're
Hindi
part
nga
of
lang
the culture.
hindi nga lang probinsya, yung mga OFW.
Yes.
Yung
Yes.
TFC.
Yung TFC na nagre-rely, di ba?
Mm-mm. So what's your best bet? How will this end up, you think?
Well, as journalists, we hope their franchise will be renewed. Okay, let's
That's
say
hope. Pero looking at political realities, looking at how ABS has handled this and how your legislative, your judiciary are operating.
I think matutuloy yung provisional authority na ibibigay ng NTC because that is their uniform messaging right now, despite legal jurisprudence, despite your former Chief Justice saying that that's wrong. Pero sinabi na ng alter ego ng President eh. So pag sinabi na ng alter ego ng President, ayun na yun.
And it's not the first time.
Ayun nga, and it's not the first time that this administration would be going against legal jurisprudence to do what it wants to do. Buti na lang sa ABS, what it wants to do right now is to provide them a lifeline. So
Positive pa pala for ABS yung fact na hindi naman sinusunod ang
yung
yes, jurisprudence.
No
Yes.
matter
unless
how
someone
shaky
challenges
is.
it, brings it to the Supreme Court. But I mean,
That's another topic.
that's
Okay,
not-
last question. So if you were ABS, what would you do?
Ako sustain the protest.
Protest.
Sustain the
The
protest.
rallies.
Sustain the rally, sustain the protest because I think nasisway din naman ang the people in power by public pressure and showing of support and showing that you're really gonna, I mean, to use our cliche, you're really gonna hold the line.
I agree with that. And then, as I said kanina, I hope they still produce stories that, you know, are critical of the policies of the president and this government that has to be, you know, pointed out to the people. Kasi I will be disappointed if part of their play here is to lessen those stories. Kasi di ba parang, kaya nga sumikat yung ABS kasi magaling din sila doon. They've won awards for that. And I hope they don't disappoint other viewers like me, 'di ba? Kasi this is a fight for press freedom and if they're going to bow down to the magpo-protest ka nga pero yung stories mo nag-iiba na wala din.
Tumiklop ka rin.
Mm.
Ay ka, last siguro.
Actually, nag-agree ako doon sa sinabi ni Mara in terms of the coverage. Just to add siguro, in terms of the business angle, I think ABS-CBN should also write more stories about the economic impacts and the business impacts of the attacks. Kasi right now, we all know that this is a press freedom issue, but what's the impact in terms of businesses and other businesses and then the economy? It's worth noting that even Makati Business Club, the four biggest business groups in the Philippines, has said na ABS-CBN should continue operations because it helps, I mean, of course, the democracy thrive, but also kasi, malaki siya as a company. So, yeah.
And whatever the fate of ABS will also be a signal to other
Yes.
corporations,
To other
and
corporations.
investors, di ba?
Especially dun nga dun sa, well, it's for another topic, pero yun nga, yung topic ng corporate layering
Corporate layering,
na
corporate-
sinampasan ng ni Soljet kanina. So, yun yung isang aspect na hindi masyadong nakikita.
Okay, so it's been an interesting discussion and I'm sure sabi nyo nga, hindi pa to tapos. And kailangan pa ring bantayan, not just siguro ABS-CBN employees themselves, but even tayo, di ba? We really have a stake in this issue as well. And pati yung ibang media, sana makita nila yung halaga ng giving support to ABS. This issue also highlights the clash between media and politics, which happens a lot in a democracy, in a working democracy, and we're just hopeful that there will be a positive outcome to all these conflict and that in the end, ABS will get its franchise and get to operate even beyond 2022. If you have any questions or suggestions about topics that we can pursue in Newsbreak chats, please let us know. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, Lian. Thank you, Aika. And thank you, Mara. I'm Chai Hofilenia. Good day to everyone.